कुमार स्वामी नायक गोंगो लुगु लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
In the news tonight, ousted USB Vice Chancellor reserves comments. Fiji works to secure COVID vaccine. And shortage of metformin globally.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Atera Lendua.
Former and current academics of the University of the South Pacific continue to write to the Council, weighing in on the debacle around ousted Vice-Chancellor Professor Paul Alwalia. The scholars are hopeful their letters to the Council will make clear what the issues are around USP ahead of the Council meeting scheduled for Tuesday. Lena Rees reports.
In the latest of a series of statements put out voicing concerns against Professor Ahluwalia, former Pro-VC and director of the Center for Flexible Learning at USP, Professor Som Naidu, says good governance is all they want.
He projects himself as if he's the savior and the guy who invented good governance. Of course, everybody wants good government. Who doesn't want good governance? We all want good governance. But it's how it's provided, isn't it? You say one thing and do another is another question.
There are also concerns of the Council considering the possibility of the Vice-Chancellor being based outside of Fiji.
For him to work from another country in the Pacific is wishful thinking. You know, it's not going to happen because of logistical issues and because of the difficulty of trying to make that work.
Whether or not the former vice-chancellor should be reappointed into another nation and run the university from another nation because he was deported from Fiji will trigger the end of 52 years of common effort and extremely hard work.
When contacted by FBC News, the ousted Vice-Chancellor Professor Ahluwalia says he will reserve his comments until after the Council meeting on Tuesday. Lena Rees, FBC News.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama says government is working to ensure Fiji secures its fair share of the COVID-19 vaccine. Bainimarama says this is critical in order to ensure our population get vaccinated as soon as possible. Apinisa Wangai Randovu spoke with the Prime Minister as he officiated as chief guest in the Chinese New Year celebrations in Suva today.
The Prime Minister says the past year has been catastrophic around the globe as laid plans were crushed and it has cost us dearly in human life and economic gain as well.
We are also one community of region and we brought together to appreciate each other, to help each other recover from storms or sickness and to build a truly great and tolerant democracy.
Bainimarama says Fiji will not just wait in line to receive this sort of life for our economy.
The vaccines we need are coming out of the laboratories and into the manufacturing phase. Many are already being administered.
The Prime Minister says Fiji has weathered two powerful tropical cyclones recently, but Fijians pulled together to help each other and are building back better.
We were slapped with a pandemic, but we stopped it at our border. We have to rebuild our economy back better, but we have protected our people, and we are hard at work to overcome the challenges of climate change.
He says the Chinese community in Fiji are part of our Fijian community, allowing us to celebrate the new year. With this year being the year of the ox, Bainimarama says oxen work best in teams, and Fijians will need to work together to rebuild our economy. Apinisa Wangardobu, FBC News.
Well, the Minister for Health says there is enough stock of Panadol in hospitals and health centers around the country. Dr. Efiremi Wangainambete confirms there is a shortage of metformin medicine used to treat type 2 diabetes. National Federation Party leader Professor Biman Prasad had highlighted the shortage of Panadol and diabetes tablets in health facilities around the country during the Parliament session earlier this week.
National Federation Party leader Professor Biman Prasad maintains that his claims about the shortage of certain medication are not unfounded.
I gave examples of basic diabetic tablets, Panadols. One individual just sent me while the Minister for Health was speaking that his wife went to Natambua Health Center on Tuesday and was told that basic diabetes tablet metformin was not available there.
Health Minister Dr. Ifremi Wangai Nambete says all essential medications are available except for metformin.
Insulin, glipizide. The only diabetic medication that's short all over the world at the moment is metformin, but there are other options for doctors to use.
The NFP leader says the shortage of medicines in hospitals and health centers affect the disadvantaged society.
Many older people, poor people who rely on public clinics, health centers, hospitals to get their medicine, basic medicine. And the minister, instead of trying to deny this, he's saying that the stocks are available. The stocks may be available in Suva.
And so how it works is there is a computer-based system that we are now introducing with the M-Supply, the ones that we currently have. In particular places where they may not be available, even though it's available in the warehouse, then certainly the issue may be the communication that happens between the particular health center and the warehouse.
The health minister assures they have 87% of all drug consumables and medicines in stock to last for 3 months. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Number of Watu villagers in Riketi Maduwata have today moved out from their evacuation center and moved into temporary shelters at the Sabandrua Assemblies of God Church compound. They'll be living there temporarily until a permanent site is identified to relocate to. Eleanor Turangi View has more.
A displaced community forced out of their homes due to a problem not of their making.
If I were to compare the change in weather system we have experienced in the past years compared to now, what we experienced this year is much worse.
Decades of living on this hill came to an end last month for these families when land cracks threatened to destroy their homes and their very own lives.
For all the years I have been staying in the village, this is the first time I have seen the hill split into two, land cracking open and landslides.
Today, the young and old helped these villagers move their belongings from Riketi Central College into these tents, which will now be their temporary home.
We were just waiting for word from the district officer because we know that school has to start tomorrow. After lunch today, we started packing and moving.
For many, it was a hard but necessary decision to move out of their homes after the village was declared unsafe.
It was really hard to move out of our home, but we are very glad that when we have a permanent relocation site, we know we will be safe there.
For exactly how long these families will be living in these makeshift tents is yet to be known. A meeting will be held tomorrow between the chief and the village elders.
Up ahead, the elderly's welfare to be prioritized, and special Valentine's Day for the Nicolau family.
मैं तो दिल्ली में रहता हूँ और रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
More focus will be placed on the welfare of the elderly as Fiji's older population is projected to grow by 3,000 per year. The United Nations Population Fund also reveals that the number of people aged 80 years and over is also expected to increase rapidly from 5,000 in 2010 to 28,500 by 2050. Pranita Prakash reports that 128 residents are currently being looked after in the 3 state homes by 87 staff.
An agreement has been signed to harness the application of theory in practice with student placement in either of the 3 state homes.
It provides a hands-on experience on the care of older persons in institutional care settings.
The Australian Pacific Training Coalition has commended the ministry and the government for recognizing the value of TVET in employment.
It enables student placement for our students training in Certificate 3 in individual support, ageing, home and community, as well as live work opportunities in Certificate 3 in carpentry, Certificate 3 in wall and floor tiling, Certificate 3 in painting and decorating, and providing cookery support.
The 3 state homes have been under the responsibility of the ministry since 2016. Currently, the home has an operational budget of $1.6 million. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
This Valentine's Day marks a special new beginning for a couple who's been married for over 18 years, celebrating more than just family, but the success of their eldest son as well. A couple who resides in Raiwai made Valentine's Day a family affair this year, despite their father losing his job due to medical reasons. Apinisa Wangairandova reports that the family head, Pio Nicolau, who is partially blind, is grateful for his son's achievement.
Nicolau's son, Yana Dokanasinga, set a new record for Hatusukuna Memorial School in the year 13 examination. Dokanasinga says his parents' love and constant nurturing is what inspired him over the years.
I'm looking forward to do Bachelor of Engineering in USP, and I'm looking forward for my NTS scholarship. My overall aggregate mark is 335.
Dokanasinga adds he admired the love his parents shared, and despite his father being partially blind, he made sure to fulfill their needs before he lost his job.
They are currently very proud of me. They're happy that at least I moved on a step further from here, continuing on my journey to achieve the best of my ability.
A year's hard work has been paid off, and we are looking forward for a brighter future for our son.
With so little to live on, Dokanasinga's parents say this Valentine was special, as it has brought their family together.
Valentine is just about sharing your love. And I think that we did that today. We share things that we have, even though it's not much, but we give it in a grateful heart.
Since 2018, the Nicolau family have had to struggle when their family man was laid off from work. Dokanasinga's dad says his son's achievement is a testimony that nothing is impossible if there is willingness. Apinis Wangrandobu, FBC News.
Donald Trump is eligible to run for the American presidency again after he was cleared from inciting a mob attack at the U.S. Capitol last month. The 100-seat Senate voted to acquit former president 57-43. Democrats needed 2/3 of the vote to get a guilty verdict to Donald Trump's second impeachment trial. Living with the motto, no dream is too big and no challenge is too great, a humble lad who grew up in the old capital town of Lebuka has achieved what he considers to be his calling. Able seaman Colombo Vuniwanga joined the Australian Defence Force in 2017, returned to Fiji earlier this year to help his fellow Fijians who were severely battered by Tropical Cyclone Yasa in Vunolevu. Kuroi Tantulala reports that Vuniwanga grew up from humble beginnings and faced many challenges before he moved to Australia in 2019.
Now a member of the ADF engineering crew on board the HMAS Adelaide, Vuniwanga continued to hold on to his early memories of struggle that keeps him motivated.
This guy here, he started with a cane knife in my hand. I was farming in the island of Ovalau, and I was eating my sweat. As we all know, that is how we go on about things.
Moving to Australia, language became a barrier for the Ovalau lad. However, his drive for success saw him through those tough days.
I was even sort of hiding from doing chores just to read books so that I could better myself from speaking in English. You know, look at it now. You know, I'm speaking like English is my first lingo, but still,
Vuniwanga says his mom was his pillar of strength that guided him throughout his difficult times.
Mom didn't let me down with respect to sort of trying to push through and get me educated. As of now, I'm in the Royal Australian Navy. I'm part of the marine engineering sector. My job on HMS Adelaide is that I'm dealing with diesels, diesel engines. I'm a marine diesel feeder. I get the ship from point A to point B.
With over 3 years of experience as an engineer, Vuniwanga challenges young Fijians to pursue their dreams, no matter how big it may be.
The biggest challenge that I face is that it's when I stop. Because if you don't stop challenging yourself, there are other doors that will open up in front of you. And I'm telling you this because I've lived by experience. And not only that, whatever you do, don't forget someone is watching.
Vodiwanga was part of the 6 ADF crew with Fiji links on board the HMAS Adelaide that helped in the restoring of lives of those that were battered by the Category 5 cyclone Nyasa in the Northern Division. Corey Tandulala, FBC News.
Ahead in sports, Women's Super League launched. And Fiji swimming shifts focus. This and more after the break.
कुमार सानी नाइक है गोंगो लुगु लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
The first ever Women's Super League competition for Fiji and the Oceania region was launched last night, and it will be a pathway to selecting players for the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2020. It is also the first ever league competition for women in the Oceania region. This will see the top 6 teams in the country battle in the top tier division. Venina Rakautonga reports.
This milestone achievement is a stepping stone to the progress of women's football in the country.
So it speaks volume of the amount of work and the vision that I've said, that without vision we cannot progress.
Fiji Football Association President Rajesh Patel says the association will continue to elevate the quality of women's football in the country.
Fiji FA will not leave any stones unturned, making sure, giving the opportunity to the women's football and making sure Women's Super League will be a success. Together we can, and since I've come in as a president with my board's help and everything, you've seen the women's football grow in this country.
Chief guest Shazia Usman commended the association on their commitment in ensuring equal participation on the football field.
Developing women's participation to beyond one league and introducing Tier 1 allows for skills strengthening and encourages competition. But more than that, it makes way for increased participation of women players.
The competition logo was also launched representing Fiji's flora and fauna. The Super League is scheduled to kick off next month. Venina Rakautonga, FBC Sports.
Fiji swimming has now shifted its focus to the 2023 Pacific Games. While Olympic qualification remains a top priority for 8 of their swimmers, the Federation is looking to develop new talent towards the Pacific Games. Venina Rakautonga has more.
The Federation held their mini-meet yesterday to also identify talent for future national events.
Whilst we are not going anywhere overseas right now, part of these preparations is towards the 2023 Pacific Games preparation. So we're already now preparing for the 2023 Pacific Games.
President Ben Rova says small events also help swimmers improve timings.
Those who have been selected also for the training squad, this gives them an opportunity to make the different qualifying times that we have set.
Meanwhile, Chef de Mission says there is still hope for the 8 local swimmers vying for a spot in the Olympic Games.
However, they are looking to FINA. They've already had a FINA-approved long course competition. They're looking towards FINA for the swimmers to have yet another competition, approved competition by FINA.
If none of the swimmers meet the qualifying time for the Olympics, they will be offered 2 universality spots for their 2 best swimmers. Venina Rakautonga, FBC Sports.
Bar has retained its title in the 2020 Vodafone Under-19 Youth Playoffs, defeating Rewa 1-0 at the Fiji FA Academy grounds in Watuanga, Suva. It was a lucky escape for the side as Fazil Faisal Ali headed the winning goal in the final minutes of the match. The side came prepared today despite almost losing against Mombasa yesterday.
After yesterday's performance, regrouping is just what the side needed.
Going back to the camp, I talked to the boys. This is not the way we play. This is not by youth. So we went to the camp, talk to the boys, iron out the mistake, encourage them.
Coach Timothy Seru says he couldn't have been more proud of the win.
Just before the halftime, we missed 2 opportunities. It just went in, but the crossbar didn't allow it. But we went to the boys. I said, boys, some of you are playing the last game of your life for the youth. Give it your best. Give it.
3 players from the senior team helped them to victory. Captain Pedeli Sukambula says it was an honor helping the side.
Ba is known for Soccer Crazy Town, so for me it's a great opportunity to come and give a lending hand to the boys at the game, because I started my football as in the Ba youth team, then I went to the men's team, so why don't I give back to the boys, because they deserve it.
Most players in the Ba youth side will be advancing into the senior team and will feature at the upcoming Vodafone Premier League. Venina Rakautonga, FBC Sports.
England made a strong comeback from last weekend to claim a 6-try win over Italy this morning in the Six Nations Championship. The hosts won 41-18. Cloudy periods with afternoon showers and thunderstorms were experienced over the country today. In the west, cloudy periods prevailed throughout the day with light, intermittent showers. From Pacific Harbour to Suva, skies were overcast with humid conditions, scattered showers experienced late in the afternoon. And in the north, mostly cloudy, rain expected to develop from tomorrow. At sea, a moist east to northeast wind flow prevails over the Fiji group. East to northeast winds 10 to 15 knots, moderate seas. Turning to the tides, the next low tide is at 2:58 a.m., followed by high tide at 9:14 a.m. Sunrise is at 5:59. The outlook for tomorrow, cloudy periods with some showers and isolated afternoon thunderstorms about the northern and eastern parts of the interior of the larger islands. Outlook for Tuesday, cloudy periods with some showers and isolated thunderstorms about the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, find apart from afternoon or evening showers and possible thunderstorms. Recapping our main stories, ousted USP Vice Chancellor reserves comments. Fiji works to secure COVID vaccine and shortage of metformin globally. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. To our poll question, this week we're asking, are the prolonged traffic delays justifiable in order to have better roads? Visit our FBC website to answer. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email, fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, or share it with us via our Facebook and Twitter accounts. That's your news for tonight. But before I go, from the team and I, we wish you, we hope you had a wonderful Valentine's. Wish you love and blessings. And we've also got a special video right after this, especially for you for Valentine's Day. For now, Ademanda.
हमारे सामने नायक है गोंगवा लुबू लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में